Hey, what's happening? This is Isai Rodriguez, host of the Gasfination Podcast, where I cater to the professional working man, 40 and above, who's looking to make positive changes to his health, lose weight, and become stronger overall through simple lifestyle changes. I'm here to share inspiration, tips, and proven lessons that I've personally learned and lived through in my 40 plus years on this here beautiful blue planet. So today we'll start the discussion off by talking about lower your blood pressure with this one exercise in our first segment. And then we'll move on to our second segment and talk about how to cheat on your diet like a pro. Cheat meals versus cheat days. And before we get into all that, if you'd like to join the conversation, then get on over to podcast.dasplanation.com/VIP to enroll in our insiders community where I share more entertaining behind-the-scenes stories, tips, and hacks that'll keep you feeling younger each and every day. That's podcast.dasplanation.com/VIP. Again, that's podcast.dasplanation.com/VIP. Be in the know starting right now. Also, don't forget to rate me on Apple Podcasts or wherever it is that you're listening to this episode right now. And leave me a nice, fat, juicy 5-star review and some absolutely beautiful words of why you love the show so much. It really helps me get the word out. It's honestly the one place where your vote truly matters. And now, let's move into our first segment with healthy conversations. Oh yeah, all amped up and ready to go today. So how is everybody? Drop it in the comments. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Let me know how you're feeling. Let me know what's going on in your life because I want to know. But what is it that we're talking about today? I have a couple of good topics here that I hope you get a lot out of. And, the first one in Healthy Conversations, we're talking about lowering your blood pressure with this one exercise. Now, what exercise are we talking about here, really? I'm sure that's what you're thinking right now. A new study that came out of the University of Saskatchewan, aka USask, this study found that stretching is superior to brisk walking for reducing blood pressure in people with high blood pressure and also in people who are at risk for developing higher blood pressure levels. And now walking has long been prescribed by doctors who are trying to help their patients bring down their blood pressure. And as you know, high blood pressure, aka hypertension, is the leading risk factor for cardiovascular disease. It's also one of the top preventable risk factors affecting overall death in the world. Think about that. This new finding published December of 2020 in the Journal of Physical Activity and Health, it shows that stretching should be a part of a well-rounded treatment plan for people wrestling with hypertension. So it's funny how, when people hear the term stretching, they immediately think it's just about stretching your muscles, but when you stretch your muscles, you're also stretching all the blood vessels that feed into the muscles, including all the arteries. Think about that. This is what people don't realize. So basically, if you reduce the stiffness in your arteries, there's less resistance to blood flow. And when you reduce this resistance to the blood flow, when you can reduce that, this action of reducing the resistance in your blood flow, this will decrease your blood pressure. It's said that when there's resistance to your blood flow, again, this tends to increase your blood pressure. So obviously reducing the resistance will decrease blood pressure, while on the other, on the flip side, if there's resistance to your blood flow, and this tends to increase your blood pressure. Go figure that, And while there have been studies in the past that have shown that stretching can reduce blood pressure. Like this study in particular, this one from USAS, is the first to directly compare walking to stretching. Because again, up to now, walking has always been the go-to prescription, like the go-to natural prescription for reducing your blood pressure levels. So they basically randomly assigned 40 older men and women to two groups, and for 8 weeks they studied the effects of both walking and stretching. And the first group did a whole body stretching routine for 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week. The other group walked briskly, for the same amount of time and frequency. So they had the same intervals and the same amount of quote unquote exercise, but the type of exercise, the walking versus the stretching, was the variable that was being tested essentially. Now, when the study first started, all the participants had elevated blood pressure or, stage 1 hypertension. And so they went through their walking or stretching routines, and then their blood pressure was measured multiple times. Like they basically had their blood pressure measured while they were sitting, lying down, and over 24 hours using a portable monitor. This is pretty much considered the gold standard for accurate blood pressure measurement. Like how they did it randomly throughout the day and in different positions. Like this is the gold standard. And what they found was that stretching resulted in bigger reductions in blood pressure across all 3 types of measurement. So again, throughout these 3 measurements, the laying down, the sitting, and the 24-hour measurements, all numbers for the people that were stretching ended up having bigger reductions in their blood pressure across all 3 types. Now, even though stretching had better results on blood pressure, the walkers actually, we have to, there's always a gotcha, right? The walkers actually lost more body fat off their waist in that 8-week study than did the stretchers, So that's something to take note of if you ask me. People who are walking to reduce their high blood pressure should continue to do so, but according to this latest study, again out of USAS, they should also add in some stretching sessions. And now, while the study protocol, had participants stretching for 30 minutes at a time, the researchers also suspect that the same benefits can be achieved by doing a shorter routine that emphasizes the larger muscle groups in the legs. So basically your quads, your hammies, those major muscle groups in your legs. They also mentioned how yoga produces similar reductions in blood pressure. If you've been following me for any length of time, I'm sure you know how I feel about yoga. And I mean, the beauty of stretching is that it's so easy to incorporate into your daily routine. Like you're not at the mercy of the weather, and it's easy on your joints. And that last point is a big plus for people with osteoarthritis. The whole fact that it's easy on your joints. And it doesn't require a big commitment of time, which is another barrier to exercise for many people. So when you're relaxing in the evening, instead of just sitting on the couch, you can get down on the floor and stretch while you're watching TV. And I've actually been doing a lot of this lately. Because you see, like we're in the process of moving out of state and selling the house, and long story short, right now we don't have any furniture in the house aside from a couple of mattresses to sleep on. So I mean, I'm still working from home, but without a place to sit my laptop. I've basically found myself working on the kitchen island with my laptop. So needless to say that by the end of the day, my feet and legs are tired of standing. Hey, they're throbbing, they're aching, they're sore, And what I've been doing is that I'll take a break to watch an episode of Dateline or 48 Hours or something. And while I'm watching the episode, taking a breather from my day and just relaxing for a bit, I'm also stretching and running through my yoga poses. I just squeeze it into my day. So anyway, yeah, you should try the same. You won't be disappointed, my friend. And so, the more you know, the better you'll be. And now, with all that said and done, let's switch gears and move on to our second segment with Mighty Man. Oh yeah, that was a good topic for the healthy conversations. I mean, again, so many benefits to stretching and yoga and all that stuff. But you got to do it. It's important, guys. It's important. But in this installment of Mighty Man, we're talking about how to cheat on your diet like a pro. So you've heard all about cheat meals and cheat days. It's basically where you choose one day and you eat whatever you want, within reason. This is for cheat days. And with cheat meals, you choose one meal, here and there, where you eat whatever you want, whatever meal that you want. But the question is, which approach is better? Should you have cheat meals? Should you do cheat days? What do you say out there? Drop it in the comments. Let me know your experience. What do you feel works best for you? What do you recommend? Because here's the thing. As the obesity epidemic rises, the search for effective weight loss strategies becomes more and more intense, And while choosing the right regimen can be tough, lots of times the biggest weight loss challenge is making and sticking to new habits. Like new routines that support your health or weight loss goals without missing out on the foods that you love. The inclusion of cheat meals or cheat days into a diet plan is and has been popular with health and fitness enthusiasts. And why is that? My opinion, it really works. And I shouldn't say my opinion. This is actually my experience. It works. That little break from the norm. It's kind of like I was talking about earlier, when I'm standing up all day, you need that break in your day. So this cheat meal is essentially your break from the strenuous diet, that you have to do. But it's now making its way into mainstream diet culture by way of social media. Gotta love social media, right? Not only can you get your daily dose of fake news, quote unquote, but there's a lot of goodness out there if you pay attention to the right people. So first off, what are cheat meals and cheat days exactly? Well, I kind of answered that already, but to be a little bit more specific, cheating within a diet plan involves giving yourself calculated, planned permission to temporarily break strict diet rules. So the theory behind this reward-based diet strategy is that by allowing yourself brief periods of indulgence, you'll be more likely to stick to your actual diet for the remaining time when you're not cheating. As the name implies, a cheat meal is a single meal that veers from your planned diet pattern, if you will, while a cheat day allows you to make free food choices for an entire day. Now, cheat diet strategies are, highly different from person to person. And how they're implemented may look very different from person to person, depending on, the individual's diet preferences and their goals, So the foods you eat as cheat meals will also vary from person to person, again, due to individual taste. But they often consist of high-calorie foods that would otherwise not be permitted, on their typical diet plan. There's no specific guideline for when or how frequently your cheat meal or day should be, but lots of times people include one cheat per week, whether that's a cheat day or a cheat meal. They might have one cheat meal per week or one cheat day per week, but that's generally up to that individual. But again, this can change depending on what the person's health or weight loss goals are. And because of this, the cheat strategy overall is adaptable and can be implemented along with many different diets. But of course, this cheat meal approach is not appropriate for all diet styles. Some diets like the keto diet are super strict. Like, in order for a keto diet to truly work, to really be effective, and for you to see the results that it was engineered to provide, you have to really stick to the guidelines, which, let's be honest, it doesn't leave much room for cheating. So that being said, the cheat strategy is best when used with diets that allow for some flexibility, but the question still remains, does cheating really work? That's the question here, So weight management and changes to your body composition, these are complex processes. And the fact of the matter is that not everyone will respond the same way to the same strategies. I've said it before, and it's this. The best diet plan for you, for anyone, is the one you can stick to. I'll say that again. The best diet plan for you is the one that you can actually stick to. It's well known that if you eat fewer calories than you burn, then weight loss is inevitable. It is super likely to occur. I mean, we can all agree on that little factoid right there, for sure. And so that's why a reward-based cheat meal or cheat day strategy may actually be effective if you're able to execute a well-planned diet and maintain an overall reduced calorie intake. It's been said that using cheat meals will lead to measurable changes in body composition and improved metabolic function. So you're gonna speed up your metabolism, you're gonna burn that body fat, you're gonna see these major improvements in your physique, in your body structure, in the way your clothes fit. They say this is due to the fluctuations in the hunger hormone called leptin. This is the hormone that essentially suppresses the feelings of hunger. It takes that feeling of hunger and let's say if it was a piece of paper, it crumples it up into a ball and just kind of tosses it behind you, for a lack of better terms. That's what this hormone does. And a common weight management theory is that with lower levels of circulating leptin, again, this hormone that suppresses the feeling of hunger, you're more likely to overeat, which kind of, makes sense. If there's less leptin that suppresses your desire to eat, then obviously it's pretty safe to say that you're more likely to overeat, and now that's obviously because you don't have enough of the hormone sending your brain the signals that you're satisfied and that you're full and that you're good to go. This may lead to rebound weight gain. People who support the cheat meal strategy for weight loss, they also theorize that intermittent periods of higher calorie foods will trick your hormone cycle into producing more leptin temporarily, preventing the desire for that rebound overeating. But unfortunately, there's not much scientific research to support this theory, so you gotta kind of take that with a grain of salt. And at this point, it's more likely that weight loss occurs for some people with the cheat method because of a reduction in overall calorie intake that's achieved by sticking to a well-planned diet most of the time and limiting that high-calorie junk food. Another component of the cheating diet strategy is the theory that by occasionally allowing yourself to indulge in foods not permitted on your diet, you'll then have the motivation to stick to your planned diet when you're not cheating, for most of the time. This is where the cheat meal strategy is tied to the psychology of weight loss. And this is also where I stand, because looking back in hindsight, anytime I was dieting or, actively watching my weight, I was most successful when I had one day in the week where I knew I could just eat what I wanted, because I knew that the following day I was going to be right back at it. And it really works. Like, some people can effectively resist temptation knowing that their cheat day is coming up. That was me. That's always been me. Like, I can diet. And if I know that in a day or two, I can have a slice of pizza and not worry about it, I can have that slice of pizza with Coke. I can have, a burger and a beer with maybe some fries, or maybe, that might be a little too much, but maybe a burger and fries with lemon water or something, maybe salsa water. You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot easier knowing that you're going to have like that break, as I mentioned earlier. But since not everyone can regulate their own eating behaviors in the same way, the same results can't be guaranteed for everyone, because here's the thing. If you're unable to maintain some degree of self-control within your cheat meals or, days, whichever you choose, then you run the risk of undoing any prior weight loss if you end up eating more calories than you should. Remember that even cheat meals or days should be planned appropriately. We're not having a party, and eating everything in sight. That is, like, they shouldn't be framed as a free ticket to excessive overeating. To reiterate an important point I said earlier, the most effective weight loss strategy is the one that you can stick to. And for some people, cheat days or meals may be a great way to maintain overall healthier diet habits, while for others, other people, a different approach may be a little bit more appropriate for them. And it's pretty common to see pictures on social media of highly indulgent foods alongside people with fit and muscular physiques. I'm sure we've all seen them. This kind of gives the impression that the cheat meal dieting strategy is the key to getting a physique that others will praise you for. Also, your attitude toward food can have a significant impact on your ability to resist temptation and to regulate eating behaviors. One of the biggest concerns about the whole cheat meal, cheat day strategy is the potential for it to encourage a binge-style eating behavior. Even a cheat meal or day should be approached with a plan. Remember that your ultimate goal is to lose weight or trim down and whatnot. So cheating doesn't mean you ignore hunger or normal cues of being satisfied. Don't think that you can simply eat as much as you want of any food on your cheat day. That's not the purpose of it. Again, approach it with a healthy mindset alongside realistic goals and expectations, that'll support both your mental and physical health. Again, cheat meals and cheat days, these should be looked at as breaks from the normal. You know what I mean? Like you're taking a break from your diet for that one meal, for that one day, so that the following day you hit it hard again, or that following meal you go right back at it. But now your body is satisfied. You have that, it kind of, for me, I've noticed that it cuts down the cravings for me. And those times where I have that odd one-off craving for a Coke or a brownie or anything like that, it's easier to suppress and hide that feeling in my back pocket and save it for my cheat day, because I know I'm going to get that break. I know, that I'll eventually get there, and then I can have that hamburger. I can have that beer. I can have those French fries. I can have the onion rings, So yeah, approach it with a healthy mindset. One thing that can determine the success of your cheat dieting strategy is being mindful of what you're eating, even when you're having a cheat day. So, pay attention to your body's hunger cues and eat when you're hungry, but stop when you're full or satisfied. That's the key to making the cheat strategy work for you. Another strategy that may benefit your diet efforts is to focus on just one or two foods instead of trying to fit them all in at once. So, for example, if you're planning a cheat meal, instead of eating the cheeseburger, the Long Island iced tea, and the cheesecake, just pick one or two of these indulgent options. By focusing your attention on just one treat, you'll be less likely to tip the scales in an unhealthy direction by over-consuming during your cheat period. Not only that, but you can continue eating healthy and avoiding foods that you have difficulty controlling yourself around while still bending your diet rules. So for example, you can have a day with that you're not tracking calories, you're not tracking your macronutrients, or, just going out and enjoying a meal without even worrying about what you choose from the menu. Let's say you're going to meet up with your buddies, have that one day, it's coming, use that as your cheat day or your cheat meal. It's coming, right? Save your cravings for that day, but again, be mindful. These strategies may be the most useful for those who have hard time with self-control during eating scenarios. The key to success with any major lifestyle change is being prepared, and planning a cheat day or meal is no different. If you have a solid plan in place, you're less likely to give in to temptation because your plan is set up to support you. With cheat days or meals, it can be difficult for some people to know when to put on the brakes. This lack of self-control could end up making your diet goals less successful in the long run. And so implementing a plan for cheat days, much in the same way as you do on regular dieting days, this is a good way to stay on track. This means that even though you're allowing yourself to eat foods you normally wouldn't, you can still maintain control over the situation. So, for example, I'm full of examples today. Planning when and where your cheat meals will occur is a great first step. Like if you know you've got a birthday party or some other social event coming up at the end of the week, then it might be smart for you to plan your cheat meal or day around that event. From there, you can take it a step further and also plan to maintain portion control. Boom. That's what I'm talking about right there. So, for example, I got an example on top of an example. Like, if you're going to a birthday party where there's going to be pizza and beer, this, So, knowing this, you should plan to only have 1 or 2 slices of pizza instead of sitting down with the entire pie, Have a beer, but don't overdo it. Live a little, enjoy your life, but stay focused. Stay focused on whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. Stay on track and keep your cheat meals or days under control. Because here's the bottom line, fellas. Cheat days or meals which allow room to indulge, they allow you to indulge. It's that break. They can effectively motivate you to stick to your diet. But that being said, it may be unhealthy for you if you struggle with emotional binge eating or any other, disordered eating tendencies. You know what I mean? For lack of better terms, this strategy may be more successful alongside other tools, such as, again, the mindful eating habits or other self-control practices. So which is better for you, the cheat meal or the cheat day? Well, that, my friend, is entirely up to you. You know yourself best. I'm all for the cheat day, don't get me wrong. I like to just take one day out of the week and literally just enjoy whatever I feel like eating. Now, this doesn't mean that I'm eating from the moment I wake up to the moment I fall asleep. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that on that one day, if I feel like having waffles for breakfast, I will. Cheeseburger for lunch, check. I don't even think about it. I just do it. And the funny part is that since I'm sticking to my diet like hardcore Monday through Saturday or, Sunday through Friday, come that day off, that cheat day, I just eat freely. Whatever I feel like having, I have, but what happens is that I'm still mindful of how much I'm eating, Like I won't have a 5-course meal for breakfast, a 5-course meal for lunch, and a 5-course meal for dinner. It doesn't happen. I still have my regular size, my regular portion. I just, I indulge a bit. And sometimes I only go all out for one meal, and the others I tend to stay relatively healthy and on track. If you haven't tried it, I suggest that you do. You may be surprised, but take note of how you feel. And if you start feeling like you need to binge, like you notice that at the end of the day, you couldn't control yourself, take note of that. Make sure I can't remember how many episodes back, but I spoke about food journaling, keeping track of exactly what you eat and how you feel. That applies perfectly in this scenario. Keep track of how you feel before, during, and after your cheat meals, before, during, and after your cheat day. You know what I mean? Like, did that make you feel good? Did that satisfy you? Do you feel guilty? Do you feel satisfied? Like, how? Everything. Write it down. Keep track of it. That'll help you progress. You can't improve what you don't measure. And if you find that you're binging or it's not making you feel good or whatever the case may be, that's okay. Then we'll need to find a better strategy for you, my friend. That's where the community comes into play. But I won't get into that right now. You go in there, there's plenty of support, you ask questions, you find solutions, period. Because that's how I roll. And so, with all that said and done, that's it, you guys. That's my show for today. I hope you found some valuable information here. And if nothing else, I hope I've entertained you for a few minutes and was able to bring you a little manly sunshine to your day. Thanks for taking some time out of your day to listen to me. It's very much appreciated. On next week's episode, we'll be talking about 5 things all successful diets have in common. So fellas, if you're not feeling successful, you definitely do not want to miss next week's episode. If you love what you heard in today's episode and want more actionable topics just like these, then You need to be in the conversation with me and the rest of the community. Heading on over to podcast.gasplanation.com/VIP to enroll in our Insiders community, where I share exclusive, raw behind the scenes stories, tips, and hacks that'll keep you feeling younger and younger each and every day. That's podcast.gasplanation.com/VIP. Again, that's podcast.gasplanation.com/VIP. Be in the know starting right now. Also, don't forget to rate me on Apple Podcasts or wherever it is that you're listening to this episode right now. And leave me a nice, fat, juicy 5-star review and some absolutely beautiful words of why you love the show so much. It really helps me get the word out, and it's honestly the one place where your vote truly matters. Until our next chat, take care now. Bye.